we've heard some rumors that perhaps that Blizzard might be working on another MMOPG line to go with World of Warcraft. That right now is just a rumor. If anything is coming on that, you'll probably hear that at the next BlizzCon. But for a fact, I can tell you about these here. LucasArts has teamed with BioWare, and it's time to step up and move beyond Star Wars Galaxies here. And they're doing Knights of the Republic Online, Knights of the Old Republic Online, and it's you know, basically what made the original Knights of the Republic games so popular, done on an MMOPG level, where apparently it can be, you can play an ancient Sith, you can play an ancient Jedi, you've got a very vast galaxy, there's battle droids, but of course, you know, it's thousands of years before classic Star Wars, so they've got a lot of creativity to it. And they're keeping it under wraps. We have an interview, I mean, they've talked about it, but you know, specific details are still in flux. So we'll have an interview for that soon. But you know, this is of course with a lot of talk about, you know, about the animated Star Wars Clone Wars TV series. There's a live action series that's in the works right now that hopefully we'll see in 2010. Well, not to be outdone, Cryptic Entertainment, who did the very popular City of Heroes and City of Villains, have got a couple of titles of their own coming out. The first one is called Champions Online, and this is their version. You know, this is a new superhero game. And we've heard stories about DC doing an online thing, and we'll also have console versions available. And they told us here, they said, please share with them that with most massive online games, there is a disconnect between the gamers and the gameplay. After hitting the attack key, gamers often have to wait a few seconds before the command would register, and then wait for a recharge of powers and that sort of thing. Well, according to the design plans for the new one, in Champions Online, that will be a thing of the past. The combat system is immediate and intuitive, but deep and complex enough to require forethought. Button mashing will not get you very far, and this is going to give you very exciting and visceral fights. They will, of course, have the total custom character customization, so you can do whatever you want. This caused a lot of problems with City of Heroes because people were making characters that looked exactly like the Marvel and the DC people, and you know, lawsuits that resulted, and they had to have moderators do that. Of course, there's going to be a lot of expansion, a lot of environments. They're talking about huge open area environments, Millennium City, Monster Island, creepy underground prisons, and it looked very good. We got to see a bit of it at PAX. We have an interview for it up on the website. But that leads into the one that everybody's waiting for. To give you an idea about this one, I did an interview for this this game about 3 years ago. It was picked up by PC Gamer. We heard that the company basically fell into disarray, whatever reason. We went from hearing a lot about it, nothing to 18 months, and then we heard rumors it was being shopped to another company. And just about a year ago, we were told, yes, not only did another company pick it up, they're almost done with it, and that is the long-awaited Star Trek Online, which is also being done by Cryptic, the same guys who did the NCSoft. It looks absolutely amazing. And in fact, to illustrate it, we managed to get a hold of the original interview we did, sent them the exact same questions, and it was amazing to see what has changed and what is the same. But the gist of it is, it will take place in the year 2409, 30 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, and the Kinema reports have broken down, so basically the Federation and the Klingon Empire are no longer allies, and there's tensions once again developing between the two. Now, due to this, an ancient threat has suddenly emerged looking over the civilization, so you have this new enemy that's coming into the picture of the Alpha Quadrant. And so one of the great things about it is you not only have the massive online, you know, put your group together, go on the planets, go on the quest, you have ships. And this was one of the great things we talked about is, well, you know, who gets to play the captain, who gets to play the engineer, what happens if the engineer has to leave for dinner, and they have all these answers out online for us. But one of the great things they told us is that you're going to have humans, Vulcans, Andorians, Klingons, Gorn, and Orions as your playable characters. So if you want to be an Orion slave girl and take yourself out, you can absolutely do that. They've told us that Deep Space Nine will likely be one of the locations. You can completely build and customize your own ships too. So if you want something that may not look so good, but it has a lot of firepower, or if you want something that's really skinny with a lot of speed, you can do that. Total customizations, 2 playable factions, United Federation of Planets and the Klingon Empire. You are the captain in control of your own starship and its crew. You will have engineering, security, scientists, and more, and basically you can customize all of this. There will be a limitless array of planets and aliens to discover, And of course, you can bet the board are going to show up in this as well. So just when you think you're a tough guy and you can take out anybody, they're going to do that. And of course, like anything, they will continue to expand. Now, since we were getting to talk about that, they said, oh, Gareth, you might want to tell them about something else we're working on. And I don't, as far as I know, this has not been released to anybody yet, so they told us this probably is going to be a debut. A historical first-person shooter called Darkest of Days will be coming out, and it basically asks the questions. Have you ever wondered what could happen if time travel were a reality? And have you ever thought about the possibility of going back in time to rewrite history for the better? That possibility is the basis for the upcoming PC and console game, Darkest of Days. Basically, the players will travel back and forth through time to relive some of mankind's most dire hours with human society at its lowest points. By fighting through the terrible events such as the Battle of Antietam, during the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the player will attempt to save certain key individuals who were never meant to become involved in these monstrous events, and thereby change history for the better. So this is basically coming. One of the great things is it says, tell them that you can wreak havoc with future weapons in antiquity. I.e., if you want to bring something from the future in the back and go have some fun, you're going to be able to do that. So you can definitely look forward to that coming soon. Now that we get to the fun part, where we start talking about some of the more outrageous, fun, and controversial titles, and I can't pass up this. Anyone here played Postal or Postal 2? And if you haven't, you can come up here. We've got some t-shirts to give out as well. This is the Postal Fudge Pack. It's Postal 1, Postal 2, it's add-on pack, and some other things all in one thing here. Postal is a very violent 3D shooter, and also if you're into collectors, I've got the Postal Dude cereal, and yes, this is an actual box of cereal right here, complete with little crotchkies. You may be aware of the movie Booba Bowl, shot in Vancouver, the film version of the game. I had a Blake and You Miss Me cameo in that, as I do in the film version of Far Cry, which is going to be coming out soon. And anyway, one of the they're at work on Postal 3 right now, and as you can see, the T-shirts right here, Postal 3. By the way, here's the logo for the company, running with scissors, and this logo, apparently the U.S. Post Office considered it too offensive to be used on their mailings and stuff like that, so go figure. Anyway, Postal 3 is coming, and apparently, if all goes well, I'm going to be voicing a character in the game. And I can tell you this, we showed some footage from it, some raw footage about a year ago, and actually about 7 months ago, last summer, we warned the people this was not for the PC crowd, shall we say. And I told them you may want to take the children out of the room for this. They didn't listen. 30 seconds later, jaws were hanging open in disbelief, specifically at the scene where he goes on a shooting spree in a police station, and the one where he goes hunting soccer moms. Now, the great thing about it is, the game is only as violent, and if you remember the Postal things, you did not have to go through guns blazing. If you chose to try to find a peaceful solution and run away from it, you could. However, there were plenty of options there. The game has been banned in certain countries, and of course, so they combat that by making it available for purchase and download online. Portals get blocked, and it's kind of humorous to see that. But it's ironically very popular in the Eastern European countries as well as Europe. So look for Postal 3 soon. It's actually, what I've seen of it is actually very, very funny. And if you like 3D shooters, if you like an offbeat sense of humor, I mean, the single play is very good. The multiplayer was fantastic, and that's where they had their own unique twist on Capture the Flag, where it was not picking up a flag. You actually had to pick up the babe from the other guy's team, pop her on her back, and carry it across the thing. And as any of you may remember, they had like Gary Coleman was one of the missions. You had to go to the mall and get Gary Coleman to sign your thing. Well, you could play as Gary Coleman in the multiplayer mode. And it was quite funny. Here he is in a white suit with an M16 shooting people down.